Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to take height in solos specifically because it is different from trios, and that's the first thing that we first have to understand is the fact that in trios we obviously have 3 members. That increases the awareness that team has, that increases the coverage that they have across the zone, and it also increases the safety in terms of how they can keep height. It also increases the options that you have as a trio to take height from that trio. So it's very different. Solos in specific, in my personal opinion, is way more simple, yet there's one scenario that I really believe that a lot of people are not taking advantage of, and that's something that I'm going to be covering in this video today. So watch out for that. Later on in the video I'm going to be covering this one little trick that you can do in solos to really take height and secure it for yourself. So let's first talk about when you should be actually going for your height in solos, right? A lot of terrain scenarios to cover, but in a very simple scenario where there's no mountains or anything, really important that you look at height. First, be aware. That's the first step. You can't really know when to take height or whether the height is a good option to take at all if you don't even look at it. And it's really easy to be aware when you're like second height or third height and you can look up, right, like this, just like this, and that'll give you the option to actually get that information and then find out, okay, is height worth taking it? Obviously, you know, your mat count relative to the game state is going to be really important, whether, you know, you should take height or not. That's going to be something that you need to consider in the list of factors that you have before you decide to take it. Let's give out some factors that you can use to decide whether you should go for height in solos. First off, did I get an impact throughout moving zones, right? If you did, then most likely, and especially if it's a significant one which got you like 500 mats, 600 mats, 700 mats, that's going to be a really good time to actually think about going for height, because then you know for a fact that you have way more mats than the average guy on height, right? So that's first off, like, how well are you on your mat count relative to the game state? And that's gonna be, you know, first factor. Second factor is height getting fought right now, because if height's getting fought right now, that decreases their awareness. That also decreases their ability to keep it because they're constantly losing mats. Maybe they're PGing someone on height. Also decreases their ability to stay ahead. So that's when you can do the classic, you know, strategy to go ahead of zone and then crank double 90 and then look back and then start spraying at them, right? So that's something that you could do. Now, there's one instance that I really want to make sure that you guys understand. So we all know about the height retake in solos where you go ahead of zone, maybe your second height, you go ahead of zone, and then you take it from the front because for some reason height's staggering, whether they're getting fought by someone else or their mat count's really low, or they're just, you know, lagging behind because they're just really bad. They're not paying attention to where zone's going and they're not, you know, keeping up with it. So this is a really good opportunity for take it ahead. Everyone knows this. This is very basic at this point. What I want to get to you is, you know, people know how to stay ahead on height. They're not that bad anymore, right? So the meta has shifted to the point where the average skill has gone up and most people know how to keep height because they just stay ahead a little bit and keep connecting to second height. So what can you do? Let's say you're the second height player, right? If you're the second height player, what are your options if height's just constantly staying ahead? Especially if you have a refresh and moving zones and you want to take it. That's the point. So in this case, what you can do, if we pretend this is height, let me just create a scenario here for you and do a little bit of jump cut in the video just to give you a situation. So let's say this is height right now, right? And let's say you're tunneling on second height like this, right? First off, one thing to really understand is if you're directly under height like this and zone's going this way, it's really nice that you're directly under because it immediately decreases the awareness of the height player itself, right? So that they don't actually know what you're about to do because they don't even see you there, right? Their builds are blocking their line of sight of you. So it's really good to line up right underneath height if you're going to do this strategy. If you're back here and you're going for height, it's very clear for the height player to see you, right? Especially if you're done like this and then you suddenly start cranking, he immediately knows what you're trying to do. You're in his line of sight. But the alternative, if you're under, right, and then you tarp up and then start going up, that's a different scenario. So let me show you the trick here. Let's say you're tunneling and then you know you have a lot of mats, so you want to go for height. It's really important that you crouch walk and you slowly, so you really, it's an even added bonus if you hear height shooting his AR because that drowns out that noise of this. If you feel like he's shooting that way, then you side jump on the right. If he's shooting on the right, you side up on the left, and if he's not shooting at all, then it doesn't really matter. But one most important thing that I really want to emphasize that, you know, we're going to look at an example from Vidil later on. He actually messes up and doesn't do it correctly. I want to show you the correct way to do it. So once you side jump, right, you don't even need to do the crazy side jump where you land on your ramp. You can if you want to, right? That'll even be even better, where you do this and then double 90, right? And then you're up like 2 layers above him, right? Which would be really, really good. Can't do this yet, like, don't worry about it. It's not actually that big of a deal. What you can do is do, you know, this, which is a really easy side jump to do, really. And then you need to double ramp over to make sure that he has no possibility of catching you, and just make sure he doesn't slide a cone from this area. So immediately your priority is not to actually kill him, right? Maybe you can go for an edit from up here once you're above him, but really make sure you're getting up. That's the key, right? Your goal when you're going for this play is not to kill him. Primary goal is to get height, and as a secondary goal, if you actually manage to kill him, that that'll be an additional refresh and an additional kill point. Sure, but you have to remember, don't tunnel on the kill. It's really important you go for height, because the height is what's going to secure that win for you, which is way more points. Height is way more points than that kill. Okay, so first understand that, like, really secure height. Focus on this first, right? And then once you're up here, then focus on the kill. We're actually going to look at the example. The example shows the strategy that I've showed, which is to crouch walk up to height, underneath height, and then side jump to take it. Also shows the wrong way to do it, because Vidil actually doesn't take height in this example. So let me show it to you here. This is a really nice play right here if you watch this. So he's crouch walks up to height, try to not give away the fact that he's going for it. And then at the very end of that ramp, he side jumps to take height, right? And he should have it. Love those cones right there. Are you kidding me? If he didn't go for the kill right here, I don't like this play at all. I think if he didn't go for the kill at this point and just went for height, he has it 100%, right? But then now he has to drop because the other guy has height. Either way, guys, that's basically it. I really think that crouching to reduce that footsteps is really nice, and also just slowly building up underneath where they have limited vision of you, right? That's basically height's blind spot. That's really something that you have to understand. You can use that to your advantage and, you know, build up in their blind spot, and that's like crouch walk to additionally reduce your footstep sound so they don't notice you, and play to their fact that you know they're not aware of you. That's the key. That's something that you could do to really make sure that you can secure height in solos. And, you know, with the whole solo cash cup coming up on Sunday, this is a trick that is actually practical and something that you can use in game, especially in your first game when people aren't that good and you want to win that first game. It's very key to win that first game. So if you guys have enjoyed this video, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.